like, Mary, I'm going to introduce you. So I would like to introduce Mary Spall, who is the Executive Director of NEED. NEED is the National Energy Education Development Project. This morning, Dr. Eric Brew talked about the idea of science is a modeling endeavor. And for me, I've been involved with NEED for many years, and they bring this modeling endeavor into the idea of energy, into energy exploration, into energy sustainability, into energy efficiency. They also bring a whole range of opportunities and activities to our young people from the high school level into the university. So I am so delighted to introduce Mary, who has given up her morning to come and share these resources that NEED has available for teachers, and also the opportunities that we can share with our young people. So Mary, the platform is yours.
Let me get back to the right screen here. I have to admit, when Paula asked me to do this, I am currently in Florida, having added a couple days on to a conference that I attended on ocean industries. And there might be 2 or 3 people who would get me to do this on a Saturday on technical vacation. And Paula Miller is one of those individuals. So I was thrilled to be asked and thrilled to be included. And I wish I was with you all at Widener, because I know it's a really good couple of days and you're having a wonderful time. I had mentioned to Paula, I'm going to share my screen so you all have that opportunity to see a few different things. But they keep moving share screen in every set of Zoom. So just quickly, I'm going to run through this PDF, and we can send this to everybody as well, so you have an opportunity to know a little bit more about us. Paula is one of our longtime teachers through our PICO Energizing Education program that we do in the greater Philadelphia area with PICO. But she's also one of our facilitators for our Excellence STEM Academy and has been doing a lot of NEED work around the country for us over time. So any questions about how this applies to the classroom as well locally, she'll be able to help you with some of those answers, and feel free to share my email address and anything like that might be some questions people have after this. I'm happy to take questions, but we're also happy to get emails later on as well. Very quickly, NEED is a nonprofit organization. We were founded in 1980. We had a joint congressional resolution from Jimmy Carter originally. That was renewed in 1981 by President Reagan as well. So had a great start with some investment from the U.S. Department of Energy, and we're a nonprofit organization who's been working for 43 years now and to bring high quality energy education, teacher training, and great opportunities for students. We're working to make sure we're preparing a STEM workforce just like you all are. We're doing our best to provide accurate, timely, and authentic information, curriculum, and training. We don't want students getting energy data that's 15 years old. We want it to be current, relevant, and authentic for everybody. And training and supporting teachers. You all know that energy is not a topic that everyone feels comfortable and confident with. So we do our best to make sure we're training and providing teachers opportunities to feel comfortable and confident with energy as a topic, and being able to link together all the different disciplines that are found when we talk about energy is a real unifying concept in science. And there's a piece of this that also engages families and the general public through a lot of different things that we do. The curriculum is huge. So I will say, as you all get into need.org, our website, take a deep breath, make a cup of coffee, and take some time to be able to go through everything that's there. There's 150 curriculum modules. Some are going to apply to physics, obviously. Some are going to be a bit more of an alignment, but not necessarily direct application. But you'll find a lot of great material there, and we'll take a look at the website here in a few minutes. Our entire process is looking at the science of energy first and understanding the forms of energy and the energy transformations. It's very hard to try to discuss coal or natural gas or nuclear with students and solar and wind unless they're understanding radiant energy first, electrical energy, nuclear energy, as well as chemical energy. So we start with those basics, and then we look at the sources of energy. And the material is K to career. So you'll see everything throughout that is for our youngest learners, as well as our entering the workforce recently from high school. And even beyond that, we'll have some community college professors who will often take the material and use in their community college classrooms. The sources of energy, what are we using today? What might we be using in the future? What do those technologies look like? Electricity generation, because it's such a huge piece of our energy picture. Transportation as well. And our efficiency and conservation and climate science. So looking at how do we use the energy we have much more wisely, and what does climate science look related to energy? What are we seeing there? The curriculum throughout includes career and workforce development opportunities, lessons, and engagements. And we want to make sure the students are getting excited and engaged and understand that the energy space is a great place, and that it doesn't matter if you are a student who is very STEM focused and you want to go into physics, you want to go into chemistry. We want to see that, but we also, if you really want to be a lawyer, there's a great place inside of energy for you as well. We often have students say, I want to be an accountant. Well, there's plenty of accountants in the energy business. So trying to help students both become energy literate citizens, as well as looking at opportunities in the workforce. When we look at our curriculum and just some areas that you all, I think, will find very interesting, we have floating offshore wind that has an enormous number of physics lessons throughout that. Offshore wind, but for fixed bottom and floating offshore. Wind in the career and technology classroom. So if you have colleagues who are teaching CTE, there's some great crossovers between your physics and your CTE classrooms. Electric vehicles, transportation fuels, our marine renewable energy units, our marine hydrokinetics have been very well received by physics teachers who are working to help students understand the power of energy offshore in our oceans and for wind as well. And our expanded climate science units and grid and energy storage. One piece that we're working on right now is a storm preparation, recovery, and resiliency for the electric grid, because of course that's a big part of keeping the power on and is preparing for storms that may come, both winter storms and summer storms. So that may be something you all take a look at later on as the fun simulation to understand how all the science comes together with the technology and all the moving parts and pieces. Engaging with schools and communities is one of our largest priorities, and making sure teachers know what's available, making sure that students have every opportunity. One of our most exciting and fun lessons that we got an opportunity to do was when Shell Oil Company, as many of you all know them, would asked us to work with them on a science of racing for their racing team. So we were able to put together, that's all physics, and everybody loved it. And they had a wonderful opportunity for our teachers to be able to go and do hands-on lessons related to the science of racing in Houston. But we then also had a chance to let them see some of the Grand Prix race that went on in Houston a few years ago. The design of the material and the collateral, we're making sure that we're getting out to teachers and letting them know what's available. Our sponsors come from all varieties. So in the greater Philadelphia area, you'll know Pico certainly is one of our partners. You'll also know, in some cases, you may be from around the region. The Atlantic City Electric is also a partner. We've partnered with PJM that's based in Philadelphia to manage the electric grid and the independent system operator. So all of the different ways that we can find sponsorship to provide great things to teachers, that's always the goal. Our evaluation and curriculum connections, our materials are updated annually. We have a great teacher advisory board that gives us ideas for best practices in the classroom. Our entire team at Need is filled with educators, both retired and current, and who are dedicated to helping kids and teachers understand energy. So as we look for great opportunities, we want to make those connections to educational technologies. We want to look at ways to bring new best practices into the classroom. And as always, we want to make sure we're aligning to current state standards and next gen as well. A few sample curriculum, you'll see these. We did during the pandemic, as all of you did, really reach and learn and expand. And many of our new assets that were created for remote learning are in our YouTube section. So you'll see a lot of material that we'll take a look at here in a minute on the website. NGSS alignments, you'll have those. And then our training and professional development is something where it's our favorite thing of everything we do. And these are 1 and 2 day teacher workshops. Our largest teacher workshop is 5 days. And fun fact, it's going to be in Philadelphia next July. So it moves around the country. We're going to host it, I think, at the Hotel Warwick. And it will be a Sunday to Thursday conference that has some graduate credit available with it as well. And so we'll make sure that you all get that registration link. We do have some scholarships available from different partners. So if you're interested in joining us for what I consider summer camp for teachers, we'd love to have you. We do a lot of summer and spring break camps for students. We also have teacher in services where a district will say, can you come help us out on a 1-day teacher professional development day? We'll do multi-day training programs, sessions at your national and regional conferences. We do go to the NSTA conferences, the NAAPT, all of those. When we look at the network itself, it's teacher networking and support and being able to call an organization and say, hey, I really need help with this lesson. Can you help me out? And someone human answers the phone. We all check our emails in crazy amounts of time all day long. So anything that a teacher needs, we're responsive, and we want to make sure we're taking care of our great teachers. There's also a fun part of this that is student recognition and awards. And there's a youth energy conference that we bring students from all over the country together to receive their awards as part of our youth awards program for energy achievement. So if you're working in a club, you're working with students who are in a small group doing some great energy and an energy outreach, this is a great opportunity for them as well. And that all comes together with some of our signature programs. And we'll take a look at several of these here in a minute. Working with partners when they say, hey, we really want to do this special program that's in a certain geographic footprint or has a specific area of the industry they want to focus on. We also do a lot of design of materials. So if you need a great poster on floating offshore wind turbines, those are on the website and free and available for you all to download. We'll talk a little bit about our Excellence STEM Leadership Academy here shortly. And then certainly, please follow us if you're into social media, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And I guess we need to switch the Twitter to X, but you all know what that is. And definitely checking out our YouTube channel as well. We want you to have access to everything that's fun and available. When we look at the website and have an opportunity to navigate that, the curriculum itself, I'm going to take you to the educators chapter first. When we go down through here, you'll see our distance learning resources are still there and readily available. There's an events calendar we will be having, and we need to talk to Paula and some of her great colleagues at Abe Lincoln about scheduling our Philadelphia area workshops, but you will be invited to attend one of our 1-day workshops that's sponsored by PICO. Those events will be listed here. So, check on the upcoming events pages and register for anything you're interested in participating in. Our curriculum resources section is robust. It's big. So definitely make that cup of coffee, get yourself a beverage and sit down when you're getting into the material. Our catalog, and it's huge, so I'm not going to necessarily click it right now for you, but it is a resource catalog that has everything that we do in it. There's a matrix of what material is by which grade level, a sort of a starter guide for, if you're going to teach a little bit of energy as a unit, what do you pull together to do for that? But then also looking at our students and our student leadership, student resources, you'll find a number of student activities and resources, science projects, just games and activities, riddles, all sorts of fun things in our student section of the website as well. And then certainly looking at what our partners look like, and who are they and what are we doing with them, to give all teachers an opportunity for lots of opportunities. When we look at the educator section of the website, you've got the professional development, you've got an opportunity for our National Energy Conference for Educators. That'll be what we're hosting in Philadelphia in July. The evaluations and assessment, we have a number of pre-post assessment you can use with your students. We have several great question banks to be able to pull activities. Each of the curriculum modules comes with assessment embedded in it as well. So you have all sorts of opportunities to have everything at your fingertips. We try to keep it simple. The curriculum resources that we have available for you looks at different opportunities throughout. So you have everything aligned by subject matter and by topic, and have an opportunity to use it as you want to use it. So is it something that you have 15 minutes in the classroom? Here's something that you could do that's very quick and simple. Or do you have a bigger project you want to have your students work on over time? The catalog's a great place to start, just to see what's available in each of the different sections we talked about earlier: science of energy, sources of energy, electricity, transportation. But we also divide the curriculum by topic for you. And certainly as you mouse over, you'll see the science of energy, the sources. We get into being able to take you into each of the areas of energy in which we're working. And then you'll see the workforce and careers button to be able to select from that. And energy and society, that's a piece that we love to see the integration of social sciences with our STEM subjects, so that it's an opportunity for students to really learn and understand how all of it comes together. One of the things that we realize as energy nerds in our organization is that energy policy in this country, if there is energy policy, is never really written by scientists. So it's important for students and the general public to understand where some of those things come from. And we try to bring the social sciences in for that. Something with a room full of great physics teachers and dedicated educators. Our Distinguished Service Award is our Bob Thompson Award and our Bob Thompson Award. These are applications for great teachers who have really embodied the importance of teaching science and teaching energy. The Bob Thompson was created. I would encourage all of you to take a look at this as an opportunity. Bob was one of our amazing educators and passed away suddenly, and we thought, how do we honor him? And we created the Bob Thompson Award. Bob was one of those teachers that was always as big a middle school student as he was a teacher, and had that level of awe and excitement and yeehaw moments in the classroom. So we do give an award each year that comes with a grant to you, to the individual teacher, as well as a scholarship to attend our national conference. Let me get to the curriculum resources for you. You'll see one of the things, and I know Paula loves this section too, our awesome extras section is a series of just simple, quick activities to be used whenever you decide you want to do that. And it's, there are, even if you're working, and I know you all are teaching upper level students, but when you've got younger students, there's a variety of things here. Some material that's in Spanish. You'll have some material as well that's our PowerPoint presentations, obviously with all the different things we're doing. There's some great presentations to pull down. Our graphic library, when you're looking for energy graphics or any of our data, that's available for you as well. Our book list, there's a bibliography of trade books that are available, and even coloring sheets. And if you need to keep, everybody likes to color. So there are all sorts of resources available there. We have our videos, our energy career sections as well. When we look at how do you get the curriculum, we have our material in Shopify. That doesn't mean anything has to be paid for. Our hands-on kits do have a cost to them unless we can get them sponsored. Certainly in the region you all are in, we have great support from PICO to help provide the teachers coming through our workshops a great opportunity to get all the hands-on kits available for free. But what we did do is we put all the curriculum that we have in Shopify so you can download it. It gets emailed directly to you. It's free of charge. And you'll have the PDF in perpetuity. We also get a link. And when we update, as we do, we update that material frequently. You'll get an email saying there's a new version of this that we've updated for you. So, please click here to get your newest version. you'll see when we look at what's new, we've got different activities throughout. Base load balance is a great activity that brings students an understanding of the reliability and how the grid works. So it's an opportunity to do a simulation on how the electrical grid works. Reliably Smart was done to help understand electricity in the grid. And these items are particularly of interest, I think, to the audience and to all of you who are teaching great physics students in your classrooms. The future in marine hydrokinetics, the exploring marine hydrokinetics, your future in wind energy, all of these are fairly new in a partnership that we have with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, where they said, we're not finding enough students that are going into these careers. Could you help us put some material out into the high schools and middle schools to help students understand what's available in the big picture in energy careers? The offshore wind units, Virginia, where our office is out of Northern Virginia, but our electricity provider, our PICO in Virginia, Dominion Energy, is now developing one of the largest offshore wind developments off Virginia Beach. And they came and said, we want to help teachers understand this and help students understand offshore wind. So we were able to do a series of 4 levels of offshore wind units for them. We also have seen electric vehicles have been a big deal for student understanding, and everyone's hearing the buzz and getting interested in what that might look like. So we do have vehicle activities as well. Floating offshore wind, we talked a little bit earlier about. And when we're looking at climate, how do we pull all of these different things together for climate? And understanding, really understanding how climate science works and how the energy we use impacts that. One of the activities that certainly has some alignment in the physics classroom and from a building science perspective is one of the coolest things. It's one of our most used activities, our energy house. And it's something, if you have an opportunity in your classroom to help students understand how thermal energy works, how electrical energy works, how we use insulation to help manage thermal energy in our homes. It is one of the most interesting activities to give students in a small group of 2 or 4, and they're creating an energy efficient house. And typically we do it with something a little bit bigger than a shoebox, but it's one of the activities that brings together so many different things that it's really a beautiful opportunity to have students understand a lot of great physics concepts, a lot of great chemistry concepts, and doing something that's collaborative, and they're learning a lot throughout. And I'm sorry that I'm scrolling you all so fast through so many things. When we look at what we have available in the secondary market, and you'll be able to go and look at everything that's available in high school. We've got our carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Need has been around long enough that we remember when carbon capture and storage was exciting before. So we've been getting all this material out now that we're looking at affordability and the opportunity for carbon capture. Hydrogen is back on the table now. We've certainly seen a shift to understanding hydrogen more. So our hydrogen units are getting a lot more interest and a lot more opportunity. So that's something to take a look at from for your classrooms as well. When we look down through all of these, looking at how we get creative in the classroom, you'll also see throughout opportunities for things like this biomass at a glance, geothermal at a glance. So very simple, quick activities to help students understand the basics of energy. We also, I think, have a very good holiday game at the organization, and there's an energy efficient gingerbread house activity as you're thinking about how to keep kids engaged and interested as we head into the hardest time of year, I think, to teach. That's not the last few weeks of school, but between Halloween and the winter holidays, it's just a little insane. These activities I want to show you are energy info books. These are what would be considered student readers. So they're 4 levels: primary, elementary, intermediate, and secondary. And these are 2 to 4 pages, sometimes 6, on the different energy sources, including the energy carriers. So you're going to get pages on hydrogen in that. Lots of opportunity for students to read. These are available in class sets of 30, but they're also downloadable, and they're also in EPUBs. So you're able to open up the EPUBs if you've got a one-to-one situation or a set of iPads for students at any point. All of those great opportunities are there as well. The excellent energy engineering would be something. I know Paula's used several of these activities in her classroom. It's an opportunity for students to really start to understand a little bit more about energy engineering, what's available as lessons in these activities, what are the very simple, you'll see throughout, just a sidebar and a side note, you'll see throughout, we always tell you what the different supplies are. So what are you looking at needing to get for supplies if it's something that doesn't necessarily have a kit? And we do our best as an organization. Emily Hawbaker, who was formerly a teacher in the greater Philadelphia area and came to join us as our curriculum director, is very sensitive to making sure that everything is affordable for teachers, and we're not using equipment that's too expensive, too hard to get. We want it to be very simple and engaging for you. We throughout, you'll find very simple things that we're using, things that you could get in the open market if you don't have access to the kits, or you just want to pull a few different pieces of the lessons together. A very, very simple opportunity to get supplies and resources. I'll show you the marine hydrokinetics piece. So this particular activity, and you'll see here, we've got a teacher and student guide from most of these larger units. So the teacher guide, when you go to download these materials, make sure you grab your teacher guide, but then also make sure you're grabbing the student guide as well. And we try to give you a great explanation for what's there. You'll see here the EPUBs, you'll have a chance to click on the teacher guide or the student guide. It will give you some thumbnails of what it looks like inside. And we do our best to say, you know, here's some things that you might also like that could be important and useful for you. When we look at our hands-on kits, if this is the time of year that we have a lot of teachers call and say, hey, my district just found some extra cash and I want the following. So if you do have that opportunity and you want to build your library of kits and you haven't had an opportunity to come through any of our teacher workshops to get them for free, the hands-on kits activity, all the activities are here. Paula mentioned in her intro our energy efficiency and conservation pieces, and those are our school energy inspectors, our school energy experts, and our school energy managers. And when we get into the school energy managers, it's one of the most robust ways to help students understand the energy they use and how to be more efficient with it, really using the school as a learning laboratory. And you'll see here again, you have the student guide and the teacher guide, and you'll get into really understanding all the aspects of energy and energy efficiency. There will be understanding how to use a kilowatt meter, for example. They will be taking light level readings. They will be taking water readings. And there's a kit with all of these tools and resources, and we can help support those through our partnership with PICO. Those are some of the most, the students just get really, students are by nature, they want to be engaged and involved and look at ways to conserve, and sustainability is such a high priority for our students. It's a real opportunity to get them engaged. The oil and gas materials, when we're looking at how do we develop traditional energy resources in oil and natural gas, those lessons and activities are very exciting and are a great way to bring together physics and geology and earth science and environmental science as well. And please also share anything that you're learning with your colleagues. If any of you are teaching physics, but also AP environmental science, we get an enormous number of questions and inquiries and usage of the material in the AP environmental science classroom as well. So we've heard that they love it because it brings in the social science as well as the hard science. The solar units are phenomenal, and teachers really enjoy getting kids engaged in understanding solar. You'll see a lot of, oh, I've got solar panels on my school, but not necessarily having students able to explain how solar works. So our Exploring Photovoltaics unit is one of the best that we've been able to put together to really help students understand solar, understand electric power, understand radiant energy, and understand how we bring electricity through distributed generation. So when even something as simple as engineering a solar oven, is something that students get engaged, they get interested in, and they have a great time doing. When all of the wind units are here for you, all of the hydro units are here. Wind and hydro teach a lot of the same physics concepts for you. Sometimes teachers are like, I don't want any water in my classroom. Absolutely not. So your hydro will be a little harder for you to do, but if you don't mind a couple of fans whirring in your classroom, you'll be great for the wind units as well. You'll see how all the hydro units come together and the different resources, pieces, and parts for that. If you're interested in teaching climate science, those units are phenomenal as well. The hydrogen units will be something I think you might enjoy, and that gets into a nice interconnection between physics and chemistry too. Let's see. And if you come out of the shop, you will simply go back to the website and have an opportunity to tour anything else that you might want to take a look at. When we look at, I want to show you all a couple of our different activities so you can share these with your students. Our Exelon STEM Academy is available for young women in the greater Philadelphia area. It's also in Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. And this is, many of you know Pico. Pico is one of the sister companies inside of the Exelon family of companies. This is a great program. We keep the students at Drexel for the week and use the University City Science Center as the location for all the training. The students take field trips. It's a great opportunity to really pull together a teaching of energy, but also field experiences. We have a luncheon where we bring Exelon executives together to have lunch with the girls. This year, where we haven't made the announcement yet. We're still working on some of the details, but we will be launching a STEM Academy for young men. This has been something since 2017 we've been doing for young women, and we'll be bringing together young men this year for their STEM Academy as well. So it was something that we were excited to be able to do, and we wanted to be able to bring students together, both young women and young men, for this great opportunity. Paula serves as one of our mentors for that program, and we're so lucky to have her support for that. When we look at what else we have available, there's lots and lots. I'm going to stop sharing very quickly here for you. Lots of things when we talk about curriculum hotspots for physics, those hydro units and the marine hydrokinetics, we're talking about circuits and gear ratios and materials, science, electromagnetism, environmental science. Building a hydropower generator, for example, is something that the students really enjoy getting into. When we look at marine hydrokinetics and your future in marine hydrokinetics that we have, it's waves and motion, electromagnetism. They're designing a wave energy conversion device in that unit as well. If you have an opportunity to teach nuclear in your classroom, our nuclear units were created in a great partnership with the Lindfest Foundation, also based in Philadelphia, as well as the Council on Foreign Relations, because there was a real interest in bringing together all the nuclear. So the generation of nuclear, but also how the atom gets used. And that brings in nuclear physics, building a generator, understanding how we deal with nuclear in spent fuel and used fuel. How do we deal with that? And certainly nuclear is something in the region for you all as you're considering teaching students about the energy that's around them on a regular basis. The science of energy gets into gravitational energy, energy transformations. Our exploring PV that you saw, our secondary solar unit, you're looking at really understanding photovoltaics, the photoelectric effect. They're doing calculations throughout. There's a great amount. I would never say you're going to teach math with these units just because of the way math is taught, but there's an enormous amount of math throughout these units that will help reinforce the math that you're trying to teach. Exploring wind and our offshore wind, it's torque and lift and drag, the Betz limits, permitting challenges as well. Some of the physics is often not the hardest thing in wind. It's the permitting, the siting, and making sure that everybody is okay with that wind development. So that's important for students to think about as we're looking at how are we creating the energy that we need, how are we generating it, where is it coming from, What kind of footprint does it require? Things that I think are important for you all as a takeaway from understanding more about NEED. It's very hands-on, and our interest is always having students engaged, working, doing. We're keeping those materials updated annually, if not semi-annually. And we try to make it accessible. So we want you to be able to grab the PDF. We want you to be able to use it in the classroom. In all of our curriculum, there is a waiver for teachers to be able to use the material, reproduce it as needed. And we're very free and flexible with how it gets used. If you all of a sudden get a great contract to be able to write a brand new physics book and you use our stuff, then the copyright will apply. So when we get into commercial activities, we work on license agreements and things like that. But for the classroom, we want you to be able to use it and enjoy it and have your students really engaged. All the activity emphasis includes the students leading and teaching. We've had a very kids teaching kids approach in the organization from the very beginning. So learning, turning, and teaching. This is something, if you're working to be able to do something that's some family engagement, you want your students to get a feeling for how they teach and how to teach. We all know that we learn more when we have to prepare to teach it. So it's a great opportunity to have them learn some lessons, maybe go share with a local middle school classroom, teach another classroom of students in your school, and get an opportunity to really experience how it is to learn material and share it. Throughout their academic careers, especially if they're going into the STEM fields, they're going to have to do a poster session at some point about any scientific work that they're doing. So it's an opportunity to really let them get some great soft skills, some work skills, and some design, engineering, and process skills throughout as well. So a lot of the activities are going to encourage that process skills, maybe with less emphasis on follow step 1, follow step 2, really giving them an opportunity in the scientific process and learning and learning together. Materials are very easy to source, as we talked about. Most of those are provided through workshop attendance, and I'm hoping that all of you will join us at a workshop sometime this fall and in the winter. And this is a fun way to deliver content without having to deliver content. There are lots of different ways throughout gamification. There's some creative cross-curricular activities, working smarter, not necessarily harder, for sure. When we think about opportunities, we want you to have them. We want your students to have them. Our workshops, as we talked about, the PEEP program, our PICO Energizing Education Program, you're getting your Act 48 hours. You're going to have breakfast and lunch provided, some additional grant opportunities, and a great day of professional development. One thing that we love from our teacher evaluations, and you all know this, often the very first thing is the meals were great. And then the second is the content was awesome. So we want our teachers you're professionals. We want to treat you like professionals. Our partners want you to feel really good about being with us for the day. And we want you to just come and enjoy. If you do see something that's not in the Philadelphia area, but it's something we're offering in New Jersey or anything like that, feel free to join us as well. That NEED conference, the Energy Conference for Educators, do keep that sort of top of your list if you're interested in joining us for summer camp for teachers. My favorite quote from one of the evaluations is, "This is the most fun I've had working the hardest ever." And it's a great collaborative opportunity to learn a lot, but also to bring together some great educators. We love to see educators who are dedicated and passionate coming to that. And, we're done for the day, but they're still sitting, talking about ways to integrate the program and great creative activities for their classrooms. The Youth Awards Conference, do keep that in mind if you feel like you want to do something specifically with your student groups. The Bob Thompson Award would be perfect for all of you in the room, and that Excellence STEM Academy. Once we have the recruitment available, I'll share it with Paula, and I know she'll share it with all of you to be able to bring the students together. For both the Young Women program as well as the Young Men program. That STEM Academy is not just that 1 week. We have a mentorship program that they can apply to be part of. There are STEM days that are throughout the year. So we'll make sure that you're well connected and finding out about these opportunities for your students. And new this past year in summer of 23, Constellation, many of you who live in the region know that Exelon and Constellation separated as a company. Constellation has the generation side, so operating Limerick, operating nuclear power, as well as Conowingo on the Susquehanna, that's not too far. So hydro, wind, nuclear, all of that inside of that family of companies. Constellation said we'd like to do something for students, and we started the Youth Energy Summit. It's hosted at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. But what's nice is we have the resources to bring students from the greater Philadelphia area. So it's a great opportunity to give some more opportunities to your kids. And we bus them from Philly. This past year, we met in the Pico parking lot and got on a bus and brought them to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and brought them home to their families exhausted and happy at the end of the week. So lots of great opportunities for students, lots of great opportunities for teachers. And we're just I'm thrilled to have had the opportunity to chat with you all today and just get a chance to say hello and thank you for all the work that you do. The most important work done is teaching, and we really appreciate what you do.